Welcome to another episode of The Neophytes, a special series within the Never Close the Inquiry podcast, wherein my good friend Thomas Maybe and I sit down and talk about current issues in politics. We are not experts, neither of us, and that's kind of the whole point. If we repeated our conversation today with the benefit of more time to think things through, it would be different, maybe in small ways and maybe in big ways. The message we're trying to convey is that it's okay not to know. It's okay to keep learning, and it's okay to change your mind. In fact, it's probably good. The fact that you believed something before doesn't mean that when presented with new information or upon reconsideration, you're still locked into that prior view. It's okay, in other words, to never close the inquiry. Welcome to another episode of the Neophytes. All right, we got the whole gang here. I am back from vacation, and a lot has happened. Among the things that has happened is Channing. Mabes, you explain. What is the format of this podcast?
Yeah, so I think it's great that Channing wants us to have a focus. And even when we do, I managed to ruin it.
Oh, we get off immediately. Well, because the thing is, this is and is intended to be a conversation among friends, and conversations can take many twists and turns that you will not find in a scripted set piece. Like if we were to write this out and we were to have like a set of questions, we're all prepared, that you had well in advance, and where you had come up with answers to them and you'd given the answers to me and I'd had a chance to think about them too. And like, it was this whole thing where it's effectively like a really tight, like educational scripted hour.
Look,
that'd be one thing.
That is not at all what I expect. What I was hoping for was, kind of a general topic that we could think about, ponder about, be like, where do I stand on that? Like, what are my thoughts and feelings on that? And then come into this and be like, all right, guys, like, I don't know a lot about this, but this is just my gut feeling on it.
We do not respect our audience enough to do that, Channing.
No, sometimes
audience, I just want you to know I respect you enough.
Yes. Okay. We actually, the fun thing is we do occasionally hear from people through the grapevine. We do hear from people. We know we have an audience, and we like to joke that we have a listener, but I think we have like 6, maybe 7.
And you guys are the real MVPs. You're the reason that we do this.
Yes, 7 listeners. For a second, I thought you were addressing me and Thomas, which I really did.
Which is equally as true. Yeah.
Anyway, point is, what had I sent you? You were referring to an article I sent you about Graham Platner.
No, you sent us an article about when people say things too often that they ruin all credibility in terms of like grace. Like when basically it was about how Trump politics, if he says a lot of things and it burns bridges constantly, and you don't know if he's actually serious or not, because everything he says is serious, but then he doesn't do it.
Hold on.
There's no going back is the title of what you sent us, and I didn't open it, just so we're clear.
I read it. It's very long.
Oh, I emailed this to you. I
Oh,
was like, I don't recall this at all. Channing, I'm a lawyer. I send hundreds of emails. I can't remember the one I sent to you guys.
Yeah, you only sent one to us. That one should count.
That's
should
funny. Oh gosh, I'd have to go back and read that. No, we are going to talk about a number of things, and it's a good time for a general update.
Real quick.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm going to real quick pop my sponsor.
Plug our sponsor. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it is a Dr. Pepper creamy coconut.
I don't like those as much.
I didn't like them the first time very much, and then I had one over on the 4th of July. Picked myself up a case yesterday.
Nice. You know what drink I hadn't had in a while that I had over the 4th and really liked was Dr. Pepper Zero cream soda. I hadn't had one in a while. Those are delicious.
I had one of those also.
Is it like white, gold, and black? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
oh
gosh, so moment for our sponsors. Also context, everyone, we are recording this Tuesday, July 7th, 8:11 p.m. Mountain Time. So I'm not having one of our sponsored beverages except this water brought to us in some limited capacity here in Utah. We really do need more water, but brought to us by
the Lord,
the divine, the Lord, and then
Governor Cox.
Governor Cox, possibly. And then another sponsor is the song Jump by the Pointer Sisters. Jump, jump for my love. Your eyes tell me how you want me. I can feel it in your heartbeat. I know you like what you see. Hold me. I'll give you all that you need. And so on and so forth. Okay.
Nice.
What in the Sam Hill?
I mean, it's
a great song, actually.
I was thinking Van Halen, but then you started.
Jump by Van Halen is also a great song. Great titled song. Jump from the 1980s. Song. Really excellent songs. Okay. Moving on. So a few things that I think
Nick's
we should cover. Oh gosh.
Nick's
I woke up at 2:30 a.m. Mountain Time to get on a flight in Atlanta and get back here and go to the office for a little scattered workday given the fatigue. But we're here for our listeners. Few things we should talk about. One, we don't have to do this in order. In fact, we might do it out of order. It's just the way I'm saying it. One is that Iran is still not going 100% to plan, which is worth discussing because it's worth discussing. Second thing is so the U.S. bowed out of the World Cup. The World Cup has been tremendously exciting. It really has been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to have the games here in North America, and the U.S. team had done really well. It had played very well in the group stage, and then had made an exciting mini run before getting, frankly, smoked by Belgium. But the U.S. striker, oh gosh, realize I need to look up how to say the names.
Starts with a B.
Yeah, Balogun or Balogun or Balogun. Folarin, his first name Folarin, and we apologize to Mr. Balogun for not knowing how to say his name properly. First off, a really interesting thing, with the U.S. team, we have a lot of guys who are effectively international players. It's part of why the U.S. is getting better. We have more players who have who not only play overseas, but were raised overseas, grew up playing overseas, and now are playing for the U.S. because they have a connection. So in Balogun's case, he's ironic given the Supreme Court ruling, which we should talk about another time. But he was born in Brooklyn to English parents who were here on vacation and couldn't go back because of how close his mom was to giving birth. So he was born in Brooklyn, then was raised in England, and plays. He plays in League One in the French league for Monaco. Terrific player. I don't know that he has really ever lived in America outside his, maybe the month after he was born, or however long it would have taken to get healthy enough to fly back to London. But anyway, he received a really kind of a dubious red card in the match against. Who did the U.S. beat? the prior match. Anyway, it was a bad red card. The sort of thing where it was unintentional. I shouldn't say it was a bad red card. I'm not the biggest. I don't watch enough soccer to say conclusively whether or not it was, but it was certainly unintentional and the red card. So he leaves that game misses the rest of that game, and then there's an
For
automatic
clarity, I'll back
one-game
you up.
suspension.
Everyone pretty much said after the fact, especially
That's a bad
even
red card. Okay.
commentators, it was a poor call. He didn't deserve a red card. At most, it was a yellow.
I
red
see
card
you guys
has
don't
a
frequent
nature.
Reddit.
What did Reddit say?
I care very little about World Cup. Just
Right.
Full disclosure.
You're the most American member of the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. The predominating opinion on Reddit was that it was complete trash that he got it rescinded.
Oh yeah. Well, so there's
that,
the two parts.
We haven't gotten to that yet.
We haven't gotten to that, Maves. Yeah. So first off, he gets the red card. It really, it's kind of, as far as red cards go, it's a lame red card.
Yeah.
But red cards mean an automatic 1-game suspension in addition to missing the rest of the game that you're playing. And
it means a minimum of a 1-game suspension.
Minimum of 1 game.
Technically, if it's even more egregious, you can receive.
Sure. If he'd gone up and cleated some dude in the chest, then maybe it would have just, could have been a significant suspension. Anyway, FIFA had on Friday, and the U.S. played Monday night. FIFA had on Friday said there was no path to appeal, and there really isn't. It's kind of an opaque governing body, and that there's no this is a bad call, please change it.
Yeah.
But anyway, but they do have the authority. Again, it's vague, but they have the authority to bend the rules or change the rules or suspend punishments in their in the discretion of this governing body, and they have done so, including in the recent past for prominent players such as Cristiano Ronaldo, who had a 3-game suspension, a 3-game suspension partially suspended. So he would have otherwise missed the first 2 games of the group stage of this World Cup. He did not. Anyway, but the reason, and so to get to the end of it, FIFA rescinded the 1-game suspension, or they suspended the 1-game suspension. So Balogun might in a year need to miss a game for the national team, but he was able to play against Belgium. But the reason there's an uproar is because President Trump called the president of FIFA. There may have been a reach out by Howard Lutnick as well, and then that was made very public.
For the record, there's actually multiple reasons it's controversial.
Okay, go on. What are some others?
So not the actually before it was actually known that President Trump had made a call. The controversy was it got way worse once people found out about that. The controversy was that they had waited so long. It was 2 days. It was 2 days before the game. Belgium had already been prepping. They'd already been strategizing. They'd already prepped for their game. It was just such a late call. If FIFA was going to make the change, they should have done it within hours. There's no excuse of it taking it all distance. Would it have been problematic? It still would have been hugely problematic. But you couldn't have said you couldn't. It wouldn't be as bad as
it wouldn't look as bad as
we changed our mind, right?
After a long breakfast.
Because I actually listened to the commentators talking about it, Thierry Henry was talking about it.
Greatest player in the history of Premier League.
They were talking about it, and they were both dude, watching their faces, they were both oh man, this is rough, because they had both been talking the previous game right after about how bad that red card was. That was not a red card. They were both terrible call, raw deal, bad. And then they're both sitting there, literally their eyes are huge, watching them as they're digesting it. And they're I mean, hooray for the U.S., but this is not a good look for anybody.
Yeah.
So, and then a little bit after that, all of a sudden it came out that President Trump had also made a call, and everyone was no, this is, it got worse. We thought it couldn't get worse. And
it got much worse.
Oh, it got
much worse. And I think this, by the way, the third topic we're going to talk about is Graham Platner, but we're already hitting hard on the second, so we're just going forward with it. But I think this gets to something about President Trump that's a little deeper. He is very much an ends over the means sort of guy, does not care about the means, I think, to a remarkable degree. And the end of this, well, the end was the U.S. lost, but the end of whatever he did, maybe it was him, maybe it wasn't, the end was that the U.S. gets their striker and arguably their best player back for a really important for a really important round of 16 matchup. And so it's like, why do you care that I, may have called the FIFA president and who has already made up a FIFA Peace Prize for me and, has tried to ingratiate himself to me and, implied that this was not what Trump said he said is, everyone is telling me this was a bad decision. And, the clear, I don't know, it's not somebody who's just calling up the FIFA president to chat about it. And then he's like, oh man, these refs, kind of rough. Anyway, we'll see you next year. No, it's like, there's an implication that maybe it would behoove you to take a look at this, exercise, certain powers if you happen to have them. And yeah, it's just like, why would the means matter if the end is you get your striker back?
Well, it's almost like it's a entertainment business. That's kind of what I took from it, is like, yeah, Trump might have called, he might have had influence, but at the end of the day, they probably like, imagine if the US was in it till the very end.
Oh
like
yeah.
that
I mean,
that would be
there was
an
definitely
incredible fever pitch. Like, I might even watch a game if that was the case.
Yeah, there's lots of advantages for FIFA. Like, this was an advantageous situation for them to switch it around.
Yeah. I mean, you get the butts in the seat. Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
you get
the couch seat.
I mean, you have the U.S. potentially putting on their best performance, right? Because you do care about the performance.
Yeah,
it's a home nation. They love it when home nations go the distance, right? It's a huge win for them if home teams can get up there. It's the U.S., right?
Yeah,
having the U.S. happy with soccer is one of the greatest things that could possibly happen to you as an organization.
Yeah,
and then not only that, but you get to, in a way, ingratiate yourself with the president. I mean, there's there's very little true downside for them when they have a monopoly like this. So,
and they already have the
what
bad
was the
reputation.
best call for FIFA, and that was the best entertainment value, the best political value. I mean,
yeah, no, I suppose that the downside is just I don't think it's a thing about it.
You have a monopoly.
Well, no, they have a monopoly. The downside is that you can't say that people watch, like, people do not watch sports solely because of the integrity of the sport, the integrity of the game. I'm not claiming that, but I'm not sure that a lot of people turn it off when there is not integrity of the game. And also, controversy tends to bring it creates interest. It was controversial, but I think people do like to win the right way. Genuinely do, and I think we shouldn't discount that. And I think there were a lot of American fans who were genuinely. This would have been much more of an issue if the U.S. had beat Belgium 2-1 and Balogun had scored both goals.
Yeah,
or even one of them, or even just been in the game.
Yeah, if the U.S. had won, and he had, like, he's a terrific player, and if he played a big role in that. As is, the U.S. got trounced. They played poorly for their level. Like, that was their worst game of the tournament, and their baseline is a lot lower than the Belgian team.
Can I also say here that I think one of the saddest parts to me about this situation was that for the first time in a while, I felt like U.S. sentiment was just slightly better from this whole tournament thing. Like, people were having a good time coming to the U.S. People were like, well, I'm not getting shot at. Like, there were some things that, like, I felt like there was a lot of good publicity for us. Hey, the U.S.
It's 250th anniversary, and
it has its problems, but, like, I had a lot of fun there, right? The environment was good. This World Cup has been phenomenal. Like, phenomenal. Like the games as a whole has been the most entertaining, like high scoring. I mean, how often do you see soccer games putting up these numbers all the time? Like
England, Mexico the other night
this was a
was
phenomenal,
incredible.
incredible. And so it was heartbreaking to me that this call came out, because do I personally believe that the red card was bogus? Absolutely. Do I think that it should have been revoked? Not really. If they were going to do that, it would have had to have been like the hours after. And then I could be like, okay, if FIFA steps in after a couple hours, because it was so egregious, and they do publicly chastise the referee group. Okay, that's one thing. And even then that would have been rough. But regardless, I'm really disappointed because that all evaporated, really. And I felt a lot of negative from not only foreign, other countries, but from American fans. The US was like, yeah, we needed him. Like we really didn't feel like we had a chance without him, but now even if we win, there's an asterisk. So
it's just not that fun to win with an asterisk.
A lot of our fans were like, I would rather have lost without him and been like, guys, we lost without our best player.
We got screwed.
That's what happened. We got screwed. Rather than like win with all this ugliness.
That's another thing. So let's stipulate that the red card was a bad call. Bad call. Here's the thing. There are a lot of bad calls in sports, and part of what makes sports great is that they are not always fair, and you get bad calls. There's a human element, and that it sucks, and it is what it is.
Say that's what makes sports great. That's what makes sports entertaining.
No, I think it's part of what makes sports great, because life is not fair. And in sports, like, we set this up where the whole idea is that it's supposed to be fair. We have these even rules, and both sides have to play by the same rules. And, some of them try to skirt them a little bit. No, you get bad calls, you get screwed, and it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it.
Sometimes your best player's on steroids, and sometimes they're not.
Seriously, the fact that I grew up
Mr. Giants fan.
Yeah, my favorite player, the athlete I have loved, because you can love an athlete as a child more than you can possibly love an athlete as an adult. Like, my favorite all-time athlete is Barry Bonds. And I fell for him when he was clean, but man, when I was really alive enough to be watching him, and really taking it all in, when he started, like, his first year on steroids, we were 9. So that's like perfect age to really start following all the, I was looking at the box scores every morning, tracking all of it, like all of it. Yeah. On outrageous amounts of anabolic steroids, doing things. He was so unbelievably talented before, and then you give the most talented player in baseball this, like beaver tranquilizers or whatnot, and he does things that you just can't, that no one could come close to. Gives you a nuanced view of human nature.
When was Sammy Sosa and Lizzie McGuire or whatever?
Samuel Sosa and Lizzie McGuire. The home run race, that was 98.
Past, my friend.
That was 98.
Yeah. So, like, legitimately, I think the steroids killed baseball for me when I was a kid.
Well, the irony is, now we're talking about this.
Because back to your point about like, legitimacy is not like,
oh yeah.
It is a thing, but it's like everyone kind of knows it's not really a thing. I think as a kid, that was that broke me a little bit of like, oh, like I was following the home run race so closely, and it's like I really wanted Sammy Sosa to win, and then it comes out later that they cheated.
Yeah.
And that to me was like, it kind of took the wind out of my sails for baseball.
No, no, that's totally fair. Like, the irony is, getting to this entertainment value thing. The irony is that 98 put people back in the seats after they had left with the strike in 94 and 95. Like, at 98 was huge for restoring interest in baseball. But then for a bit, but then later you have all these revelations, like, they were juiced to the hilt, and that really punctures the balloon to a pretty great degree. The sort of thing happens all the time. No, I think people with sports, they really profoundly care about the integrity of the game. It's like part of what they don't care necessarily as much about every call being right. Because there are a lot of they do care a lot about it, but it's like that somehow part of the fun is that sometimes you got to be
sometimes the wind goes your way. You know?
Yeah, no, you rage against the hurricane that you can't do anything about it, and the ump just made a bad call, and that particular kind of call isn't reviewable, and it is what it is, and now you have to gripe for a whole off season or whatever. But
I think we could argue about that for a while, about that being fun or being like a part of
it's not.
I could disagree with you for a lot.
Well, no, I think it's kind of, keep in mind that I like, I read a lot of poetry. I took a lot of poetry classes. It's like the beautiful agony of it.
It's the Sisyphus of sports.
Yeah, it's like it's yeah, sure. It's no, but it's terrible. But like I do not like I think there's a certain poetry in the ugliness. I don't think we should have
you could have enough
baseball.
pain and enough excitement with the skill expression.
Sure, you can
without having discrepancies in rules or calls. Flavor.
That's why we play esports, right. Channing. That's why esports.
Yeah, you guys do your electronic stuff. Yeah, that I can't quibble with that. I think there would be enough, but I think there are these other elements that I think are, that they are elements that can be valued. But anyway, yeah. So it like when Trump intervenes, I think he doesn't care. I think like that to him, like he doesn't have the. I don't think he cares about the integrity of the game.
No.
And I think that is probably true about most things.
I think there was two things that people told him. One, people told me it was a really bad call.
Yeah.
Like terrible red card.
Yeah.
They also told me we can't win without this guy. So
yeah.
That can't be. We got to fix this.
You know what? I would say that's one of the worst Trump impressions I've ever heard, but it's the most enthusiastic Trump impression anyone's ever done on this podcast. So I think it's great.
I can't do it. I can't do impressions to save my life.
Not even gonna. Yeah. Not even gonna try.
I could hear it in your voice. You thought your voice was thinking about.
No, I was about.
I heard it.
I'm pretty sure I was about to do an impression of you doing an impression, like as I started to make the sound.
That's a cop out.
No, it's
someone doing a bad impression.
Anyway, so Anyway, we were
bad optics. I think it was bad for the country,
and also given that the U.S. No offense to the U.S. An inspiring run. Given that the U.S. was going to lose eventually anyway, barring like probably the end of the world, we just don't at this point. We don't have the roster to win that many games in a row. With these European teams, Argentina, they're so good. Like they've got guys coming off the bench who would be straight up our best players. Like they got guys that
we don't have any guys that are like that's the guy that's going to score every time, like Messi, Mbappe. Like these teams that have like players that are like they're going to produce.
Yeah, well, and we don't even have the guys like it's like you've never heard of this guy, and it's like he's played. He's had 343 caps for Arsenal. And like we don't have anyone that Arsenal
coming off the
wants.
Bench. Off the bench, he's like I'm not even joking. I've been watching a couple of them, and they're like, and so the substitute's coming in. He's he's a starter on some like Barcelona. You're like, what?
Yeah,
he's on their bench.
It's like America's ever played for Barcelona.
He'd be like our coach. In America.
Well, I was laughing. With Belgium specifically. So Romelu Lukaku comes off the bench for Belgium now. Like he's been playing for him a long time. He's 33. He's unbelievable. He's built like a football player. He's 6'3". He looks to be about 215, and he can really run. And he's Belgium's all-time leading scorer. And like his goal against us, that took a lot of skill. I just don't like we Malik Tillman, by the way, who is apparently the best set piece free kick guy in American history. German, by the way. Did you know that? Malik Tillman?
I don't even know who that is.
So he's the guy who's made the 2 free kick goals for the U.S. It's like, why is he good? Well, he's just great soccer player, but his dad's American. His dad was an American soldier stationed in Germany. He was born and raised in Germany and grew up playing in the German system. I thought to look this up the other day when he did an interview after his game with the incredible free kick. It's like, that dude has a German accent. Turns out because he's German. But that's how we get our best players for now. But awesome. And, this is the sort of term that would inspire a lot of young Americans to play soccer, which as a baseball fan, I suppose I kind of have to oppose. But anyway.
One other thing I thought was really fun was just because it was so prevalent in our nation, because the games are happening here. Yeah. People are bandwagoning it like more than I've ever seen in my life, and it was really fun to share. I don't follow soccer very much anymore. I played growing up. I still love soccer. My son plays, I play with my kids in the yard. I really enjoy soccer, and it was really fun to share that with a lot more people that usually do not care whatsoever. Right. And it was fun. It was a different World Cup, and I really got to enjoy it this time around. And so I definitely am disappointed by how I feel like it was kind of spoiled at the end for me as an American. Not because we lost, because that was honestly, I didn't expect us to do very well at all. So getting a group stage was a victory.
And huge win against Paraguay,
great. Hooray, right? Yeah. Fantastic. But I felt like it was really spoiled at the end because of the controversy with this, and the president didn't help, FIFA didn't help. It is bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to say it was spoiled, but it was certainly like you dropped the ice cream in the sandbox, and now you. So I guess that's kind of spoiled. Are you still licking
the ice cream? Are you still are you sucking on the ice cream and trying to spit out the sand?
Scraping off the sand? I don't know.
All right,
I'm trying to figure something out. I don't know. Okay.
What was your first topic?
First topic was first topic was Iran, and we don't need to discuss this at great length, but the basic gist is that we come to an agreement with Iran, and it's
things are going well.
Yeah, things are going great. We got a ceasefire, and oil prices are just going to, drop on down.
Everything's going according to plan.
Yeah. And it's great. And then now things have not gone totally according to plan. Currently, I don't know if it would be right to say the ceasefire is fully off, but we have not ceased fire. We are currently attacking them in retaliation for attacking ships in the Strait of Hormuz. We've revoked the sanctions exemption. Number of things have gone on, but basically, it's just not going great. Yeah, go on.
One thing that I do want to state just up front that I think is very, very interesting is the fact of how badly the U.S. We as people do not want to talk about this again. Like it is not like front page news when it kind of is front page news. Like this is kind of a big deal of the regression. I mean, we're not regressing from a lot because we never really got anywhere, to be honest, like throughout this whole thing. But the momentum has massively shifted, even though we only made small progress. And I feel like we've really tried to move on. We're like, all right, let's
be done with this.
We're done.
So okay,
gas prices go down.
Yeah, couple of thoughts. Okay, because there are a number of ways to look at this. There are a number of Americans, I think some very, very smart Americans, who agree fully with the decision to strike Iran, and that it was the right move to do. Maybe not necessarily this exactly, but something, and that we need to take steps to dismantle Iran's ability they have to move toward a nuclear weapon or anything like that. And that's a decent sized chunk of Americans. I think there are more Americans who have not gotten that far into it, are very skeptical that Iran was really making progress toward a nuclear weapon, and are just generally very reluctant to get involved militarily in foreign lands, particularly in the Middle East, because of pretty much exactly this thing, which is where there are a couple of ways to do things, and I do genuinely believe that to some degree the president got a little over optimistic following the quick success in Venezuela. It's a very different, smaller, weaker country than Iran, and thought, okay, if we do some nice bombing, we're going to like this is a house of cards and things are going to collapse. So, we're working with Israel, and here they think we're going to restore Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, whose name also I can't say. Gosh, really need to practice pronunciations before we start recording. But anyway, the former president of Iran, we're going to restore him to power. And then they accidentally bombed him, which is too bad. But, it just sounds it's kind of darkly funny, I suppose. But the reason a lot of people are so reluctant to intervene is because it is just so easy for things to not go fully to plan, and for you to end up in these situations where not only have you not achieved what you went in to achieve, and there's a good argument that we achieved part of it, but that you've not gone in what you intended to achieve, but that you also can't get yourself out. And because I think one danger here, and Mabe, sorry, I feel like you're about to say something, but
Nope.
Oh, okay. The big, I think, downside of the whole affair has been that Iran has been shown, probably to a greater degree than they knew before, that they do genuinely have some leverage over the Strait of Hormuz. And maybe they knew that, and I know that the administration dismisses that, but like that's being able to raise everyone's gas prices actually is leverage.
They had clearly been thinking about this longer and harder than the U.S. has, or they were able to implement plans better than the U.S. was. It's hard. It's like, if Trump would have just gone with the original plan, I wonder how things would have shaken out.
What was the original plan?
Like, wasn't there like a nuclear power deal that he struck down?
Obama's deal?
Yeah.
In his first term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
it depends
it's not
on what.
It's not like, I mean, right, like, but there's a lot of different ways this could have gone.
Mm-hmm.
And just going into war, I feel.
Well, I'll tell you JD Vance's argument, and so this is before things kind of started going badly again. So this is when things are good. He does an interview with Ross Douthat, the New York Times. They're friendly, so I think it's a pretty good interview. I sent this to you guys. I've sent you multiple things, and at least one of them I remembered. But in it, Douthat asked the question, because the point about the Obama deal is a good one, because they're, in certain respects, these are not that different, and I think there are Obama supporters who would argue that this deal is worse. But Vance's point was that Obama negotiated that deal when Iran's power was at a high point, and because of it got a worse deal. And that Trump is now, they're now negotiating this when Iran's power is at a low point. Because of it, they're maybe not getting everything they wanted, but they're getting a lot of good stuff that the American people should feel happy about, and that will make things better for the American people. I question whether it now, and he also said that we have actually set their nuclear power program, or their nuclear program, back a year or so, because everything is just buried under rubble. I don't think we know for sure to what degree that's true. I think from our perspective, sitting here thousands of miles away from it, it does not appear that Iran is negotiating at a particularly weak point. because I think they have seen that they can cause legitimate pain. And it's funny that, for Americans, pain is like gas is more expensive. And for
which
a lot of
means
people,
everything's more expensive.
which means everything's more
financial
expensive.
pain.
It's a financial pain. And for a lot of people, that financial pain is very real. And for others, it's just more like it's annoying.
Yep.
But Iran can cause us financial pain, where even if they are suffering, their people are suffering much more material, immediate pains. They can bug the American people enough that it will shift the political winds. Like if this is still going on in the midterms, even if Democrats continue to have things happen like the Graham Platner stuff, which we'll get to, Republicans are very unlikely to keep certainly the House and maybe even the Senate. I forget if I was going anywhere further with that.
I do think the Iran, just everything that's going on with it, is something that is a problem.
No, Chaney, you're saying the original. Saying maybe you had said the original plan. I'm forgetting, but I think the mistake was, or when you're faced with something like this, you basically have two real choices. You don't go in at all, or you go all the way. And a lot of the people who believe Trump did the right thing in attacking believe he should have gone all the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that, it would be unpopular initially to put boots on the ground or whatnot. And there would obviously be significant casualties, but that if you're going to do this at all, you have to do it properly and you have to go to the end. And
that was what I was about to say, is like, Iran's a problem. And this is what everyone was dreading. Like, this is why no one wanted to get involved, is because no one really wants that not the nuclear option. That's a bad phrase in this circumstance, but no one wants the extreme option of boots on the ground, right?
Right.
That's terrible. That means lots of lives are going to get lost. That means it is ugly and messy. And so, no one really wants that, but people who are of the idea that action is necessary, we're like, that's what you've got to do. And unfortunately, he took a middle path. He took the path that he thought he picked up a quick win in Venezuela, and he was like, hey, we can have the best of both worlds, right? We can nip this in the bud. I can show that this was negotiated. Obama was wrong all along.
Yep.
The Democrats were wrong. Everyone that's been wishy-washy about doing anything is wrong. And I can also prove that I can do this without all this bloodshed. Like I am a miracle worker. Like I can navigate this line
and I'm finally going to get that dang Nobel Peace Prize or something.
We find ourselves in a position because it's really frustrating to me. Because you put our country in a situation where you were unwilling to take the blowback, the political blowback, which you talk about all the time that you don't care, but you really do. Like he does. I know we talk about he like doesn't because he says things, but like there's a degree to which he cares, right? And because he wants to be known as this amazing man, right? He wants to be known as a special thing. And so the fact he never had the chops to send people in to die on this, he knew full well that there wasn't an impetus that the American people could get behind losing people over there, for us to rally behind. So he didn't. He picked a middle path, and now we're here. And it's really frustrating because you've proven, for someone like me who didn't really like the Iran deal, back during the Biden administration, I didn't really,
or Obama.
I'm sorry, thanks. Obama administration, didn't really like it. I was like, I don't really like this thing. I think there needs to be something better. We need to be better at this. Like we should be thinking about other options. I don't know. I'm not saying I had a plan. I didn't really like it though. I was. You weren't. I think this is weak. Is what I was saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could get better, but I think this is really weak. And so you have people who, like me, that were very, very like, I think we should reevaluate this, and bring this back to the table. People thought it was a good win. And then you just validate everyone that ever thought that this was a terrible idea. Anyways, sorry. I don't know. It's a terrible situation, and it's frustrating because this is exactly what no one wanted.
No, it is. And Vance, he does it's funny. It would be interesting to see him talk now where it's like things have kind of devolved again. But, he's a great salesman. He's very smart. He's just
he's a heroic Trump salesman, man.
He's going in there
doing his best.
He's what are they? Yeah. Anyway, he's you got to sell someone the pen or whatever.
I would be terrified to walk into a car dealership with him as the salesman.
Yeah, you'd probably,
I'd be
you'd be driving away 45 minutes later in your new old car. It's like I didn't
warranty as is.
Like I walked in to go to the bathroom. Like I don't like the guy. I at no point in the conversation was I like really liking him, but somehow I ended up forking out the money for this car and now I have it.
Well,
no,
I mean,
somehow I don't have a shirt on.
That. If he could use that on Trump, that'd be nice. Like maybe he has some good ideas.
Yeah, well, funny you should mention that.
The dealership.
Funny you should mention that. It seems pretty clear. Vance was not a fan of going into Iran. He represents this dovish kind of populist branch of the Republican Party. Like they do not want to intervene militarily unless really, really, I don't know what the bar would be, but you got Rubio comes out of the more aggressive hawkish wing, and then Vance comes out over here, and it appears that Trump was persuaded by probably Benjamin Netanyahu. I think is maybe I don't know if all of his political instincts are dynamite, but a very persuasive man. And anyway, yeah, Trump went with the kind of middle of the road where you just try and drop bombs and get a nation of 92 million with a very powerful, well-consolidated military and governing apparatus that cares not a whit for its civilians, and cut down 30-something thousand of them in like 2 days in January. Getting back to, there's no question that Iran is bad. Iran's bad. Like this is bad. 30 whatever thousand people in a couple of days, the government killing their own civilians. In America, like ICE shot 2 people in Minnesota, and even Trump's like, okay, we're pulling people out, like we're changing, we have to really shift strategies. That's 2 people, and that was in very different circumstances. It's not like in Iran. It's like people were getting shot in their hospital beds. They had all this evidence of people just being executed point blank in hospital beds, and bodies dragged in because they
participated in things, got
allegedly
injured, and then they went and finished the job.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna find out who these people are, and we're gonna go get them, and they did it. That has not. We don't experience that here.
Yeah, we really can't fathom it. I can't. I talk about how terrible that is, and I know
I can tell you one thing: we would stop the podcast really quick, or shift gears really quick. Hail, glorious leader!
Yes, supreme leader,
supreme leader. Yes, we think you're excellent. Yes, yeah. Woo boy, no, yeah. We just have no concept of it.
We had no concept of it,
and that is not the sort of group you can topple with.
Not only that, we forgot one major element or pillar to this whole thing: religion.
Go for it. Sure.
You are fighting a religious government.
Yeah.
Built on you're not just you're competing against every element basically.
Theocracies are tough. Theocracies are really tough. I'm reading right now a terrific biography of Douglas MacArthur, who was.
Oh yes, read that one. Good book.
Yeah, okay.
I thought you already read something on him Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
No, you're probably just
oh no
implicitly.
No. I'm thinking of someone else. Okay, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, you're not just mocking me for taking a while to read this book.
No.
Okay, but Douglas MacArthur, who led, it's a little complicated. He led U.S. forces in various parts of the Pacific during World War II, and yeah, and he signed for the Americans, for the Allies. He signed the instrument of surrender when Japan surrendered to the U.S. Yep. The Japanese, that was Imperial Japan was, in all true senses, like they were very spooky, theocratic, crazy, absolutely barbaric, in the way they conquered. Oh no, like we're like,
yeah, I know,
really bad. A lot of torture. The
as opposed to a little torture.
No, like a lot of torture. Really a lot of torture.
China, there were atrocities in Korea and China, in other the smaller Pacifics.
Oh gosh, without going into too many specifics, but anyway, it was like that was something that went into a lot of considerations near the end of the war, after Nazi Germany had surrendered, and now you're dealing just with Japan, dealing with the fact that they are not operating on this. This is not like a liberal democracy, for example, and yeah, here they are too. The point being that they have.
Well, that's one of the reasons they dropped the bombs. That was actually one of the that feeling of, if we don't do this, break them, then we maybe end up when we reach mainland Japan, we may be fighting the women and children. Like we may be fighting them down to the last child.
And the question that will never be answered conclusively is whether they had already been broken or not. But there were plenty when they surrendered who had not been broken. Yeah. There were factions within Japan that tried to attack their own people. Protecting the emperor became a big deal. There were, there was a lot of
there were islands that were separated that they didn't believe when they were told that they had surrendered, and they fought to the very bitter end.
Tough people. Anyway, when you've got a nice ideology, you
got one going for you. It sticks pretty well.
Yeah. It's like Viktor Frankl wrote Man's Search for Meaning. He wrote it in a very different context, but when you have, if your meaning spurs you to violence, you can do some really amazingly awful things. Anyway, so point being that Iran is not going 100% to whatever the plan was, and it does seem to be kind of making what it does is it leaves a situation where everyone feels like Trump has messed up, and that if he had done what they wanted, it would have been right. Whether non-interventionists are like, my gosh, you idiot. And then people were like, you have to, like, if you're going to go in, you have to really do it, are also sitting there and thinking, you idiot. Because now, we just don't know how we get out of this with a clean win. Now, granted, maybe in 2 days we get out of this with a clean win. That'll happen.
I think that a clean win is improbable. I'm not going to call it impossible.
I would agree with that. Yes.
I think it's improbable. I think at best you can get a very painful, ugly win. One that unfortunately the history books won't say 1-0. It will say this was terrible, horrible, and there were no true winners. But the hard part is I don't feel like you can just walk away, because if you walk away, Iran is like, well, we did it.
Yeah, this is a tough one to walk away from.
We did it, and so now you're in this unenviable position. You've lost all support of the Americans, which if you had gone in, you would have been losing the support after you'd gone in. But now you've lost the support before you could even muster going in.
Yeah. Anyways, because the argument with going in is that you go in and people are initially really skeptical and don't like it, but then you win and they're like, oh, great job.
Well, I mean, you can look at like Afghanistan and stuff like that. And
it's different there because people were really stoked about going in.
Yeah.
And
true.
Iraq.
Yeah.
But
see, that was one where I feel like the majority of Americans were like, get them. Get 'em.
Yeah. Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And then
wake of 9/11,
we were
get
out
'em.
for blood. Yeah, a lot of people were
Yeah.
out for blood. Like we got to put this. There were people who weren't. There definitely were people who were like, no, there's no reason, and very valid.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand that point as well. But this would have been different, right? And that's why I
Yeah.
said he didn't have the appetite, the
Yeah.
strength to be like, I know this is gonna suck, but I'm
Right.
going to make sure we win this. And no matter what happens, how I get written, I know I'll have made the right choice.
Yeah.
He went with I can win this and I can look good.
Yeah, you're right. I can win this without really risking or sacrificing anything, and yeah, maybe not. So let's close with a tight 7 minutes on Graham Platner. The latest, oh boy, tough week for old Graham. So he'd been dogged by. We've spoken before about some scandals. He had it came out. Someone who had worked for him, his wife had told this person that Mr. Platner had not long after his marriage sexted a number of women simultaneously. Yeah, and like not a good thing, but also maybe not like there are worse things. But there was also this sense like maybe he has done worse things, and now let's innocent until proven guilty. Now he has been accused of worse things. And so the last week, because with this prior stuff, people, you saw some people start to kind of get a little more tepid in their support, but most people are like, no, we're standing by him. Like none of us are saints. Let he who is without sin throw the whatever. We're living in a glass house. Something, yeah. Or throwing rocks. Stop throwing rocks. Something like that.
Sure.
And so he was accused of sexual assault by an ex-girlfriend or someone who let's couch this in lawyerly terms. Someone who claims she dated him in 2021, claims that he came into her house without her consent, drunk, and kept insisting on sex and did not take no for an answer, and eventually had sex that legally would
assaulted
constitute would constitute rape. And then just today or yesterday, I believe it is, another woman came out and said that he had, while they were dating, removed protection without her consent, which is a different, which is also sexual assault and really not great. And with these latest revelations or latest accusations, elected Democrats have begun to withdraw their support en masse. So
yeah, Mom Domney just came out.
Mom Donnie said he should withdraw. Bernie Sanders has said he should withdraw. The Senate, Senate Democrats, that the PAC or whatever, they're no longer supporting him financially. The general Democratic consensus right now among talking heads and among the powers that be, because we have not, I think, personally taken opinion polls of liberal Mainers, but is that he should drop out quickly to give them time to come up with a replacement candidate before the deadline, which is in like a couple of weeks, week or two. Anyway, thoughts?
Well, so this goes back to our conversation. I don't know if it was on our last podcast where it was like, how bad would it get before you'd vote for somebody?
Yeah. Like if Gavin Newsom has,
right,
connected to a string of disappearances. Yeah, right.
So, either I'm not principled enough to go with what I wanted to do, or I'm not principled at all. But like, yeah, I this matters a lot, like it actually matters a lot. And and I have evidence for this of, in other elections where I wasn't sure, like I just didn't vote.
Yeah.
And so like if I did see no good candidate, I would not vote.
Yeah.
And so I had to do some checking, the past couple of days of like, do I really believe, like, if I have this belief that, the Supreme Court needs to be redesigned in some way, having zero clue as to how to actually do that or anything about it other than, if we want serious change, then that might be somewhere to start so we could actually pass laws. And someone like Graham Platner was like running for president. Let's say he got through and he's had a career, and then he's running for president, and then this comes out. Would I be willing to vote for someone that said they're going to do all these things that are like things that might resonate with me at certain times or sound good to me? And no, like I actually don't think I could. And a part of me is disappointed in myself that I like wouldn't have the balls to like say like no matter what, like this will be best for the country.
Yeah.
I got to vote for this guy even if I hate it, but I don't think I could. Like I just don't think I could. So that was interesting for me to like figure that out like over the last couple days.
It's so funny. I love a conversation that comes in. There's a line from the A-Team 2010 remake. It's like, I love it when a plan comes together. I love it when a conversation circles back on itself. And this is in two respects. One, this is a perfect answer to the prior conversation we had about how, you ultimately you vote for the policies you want, and people are justified in doing so, and that Gavin Newsom, could turn out to have been connected to a string of unexplained disappearances, and
I think eventually we went down to the thing of like he did it, but we can't prove it.
Yeah.
I think we got to that extreme.
I mean, I can see, like, I can understand people that vote and just do it because it is like what's the right thing to do for the country.
Sure.
If they do what they say they're going to do, I can see that point of view. But when I was thinking about like Graham Platner specifically, it's like, there's like a point,
Yeah. Well,
at least for me.
Yeah, no, but it's funny you said it, because it also gets back to the what we were talking about earlier with sports, where it's like, it's an entertainment product. Like, we don't care about the justice or whatever. And it's like, no, we really freaking care. Like, we really do. And sometimes you don't think you do until something happens. Then it's like, whatever, like with the red card, it's like he gets the red card. It's like, this is outrageous. And, FIFA should undo this. And it's ridiculous that they won't take an appeal. And they're like, we're undoing it. It's like, oh, wait, why? Why? And it's like, well, the president called. It's like, oh, dang it. It's like, oh, gross. Yeah. And then with this, it's like, Graham Platner, he's a warrior for the working man. And I was like, man, he talks about the working class in a way that's more compelling than anyone I've heard in some time. And okay, that's great. And it's like, oh, we've all got skeletons in our closet. And then he opens the closet further, and it's like, oh,
yeah.
Geez.
I mean, who hasn't had a Nazi tattoo at some point?
Come on.
There's not even skeletons in there. There's bodies. There's like bodies. Legit bodies.
There's still flesh on there. It's like, no, it stinks. No, it is, and it's been heartening in a way for people to just be like, okay, oh wait, you maybe raped somebody? No, turns out like, we didn't know there was a line. There's a line. You crossed it.
Come on, you guys. Like there has to be better candidates out there. You don't have to go to some random Maine town and find some guy that has a whole bunch of stuff in his closet when I'm sure there's just a perfectly normal person that's been crushed by the system that's been trying to run.
There has to be someone.
Yeah, there's got to be somebody.
Like he's charismatic. He's a good candidate. Think of all the people we know. It's like, we know some neat people, but there's so many people.
Welcome to the other side that we've been dealing with for the last couple of years.
What do you mean?
Just like for those of us that are a little bit more right-leaning,
yeah,
we're like,
oh,
is there really not someone else? Is there really not someone else that
right?
like,
No,
has
yeah.
policies that like
No, it's been a problem with everybody.
Being?
It's been a problem with everyone. Like literally, it's the whole system.
I mean, well, it's not just. Yeah, we could call it the system. We call it whatever it is. I don't know. Yeah, the fact of the matter is that both sides have, on occasion, had to deal with something where it's like they did what? Oh, gosh, it's like, oh, geez, Monica Lewinsky, who's that? Oh, oh, geez, and that Trump has had, about, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000, like little. Like Trump makes many of his most consistent supporters uncomfortable with some regularity. I can say, knowing some of, I think, his consistent supporters.
So Graham Platner went wrong by not having enough money to bribe the people in his life that he screwed over.
He blew it. He blew it. But
I know enough people that were huge Trump fans, and they still are like, wow, he's still pushing the policies. But it's been amazing to see the evolution over time of quite a few of them who were very pro, like they could explain away, just about anything, that he said or did. And some of them could even,
it's locker room talk.
Could even like champion it almost, be like, like I'm glad he said that.
He tells it like it is. Yeah.
And now it's like some of them have straight up even said, I really wish you wouldn't say it like that. Like and other things, and you're like, anyways, no, he's burned a lot.
Yeah, he really has. Even as he's kept votes, and it is to Democrats' enormous discredit that they haven't been able to pull more people over. And part of it is because keep running sucky candidates.
Yeah, because Democrats suck.
The Democrats suck.
Yeah, like there's no way around it. We're just terrible.
And it's like, okay, no, we've got a perfect guy. He is perfect. He really represents the working class because he is, he's a vet. He's a disabled vet. He's an oyster fisherman, or oyster farmer. He's he's gruff, and he speaks about the working class in a really inclusive way, where he's including people with high salaries who need to work for their money. It's like, are there any downsides? There are some downsides. There was a bit about a Nazi tattoo. A Nazi what? Well, no, the whole platoon got it. Like it's this thing he didn't know.
He was
in the military. It's like, you know what? I'd never been in the military. Maybe Nazi tattoos are a thing. I don't know. Maybe if I had served and was a partaker of illicit substances or just a lot of alcohol, like maybe would have been talked into doing something so dumb, and then I would have, obviously gotten a new tattoo to cover it up, or whatever he did. And it's like, are there any other downsides? That one's tough, but okay. Like, well, he might be a rapist.
Well, there is this other thing.
Yeah, there's this little other thing.
It was sexting. No big deal.
I mean, sexting. It's like, okay, that's not great.
Not great. But
yeah, Well, and then also, I love people like some of the way it's reported. It's like, okay, he may have committed sexual assault. It's like, well, that sounds bad. Wait, what do you mean rape? It's like, yeah.
Yeah,
that's like, that sounds so much worse.
Yeah, the wording is so careful, right?
I'm always amazed when people are like, he was accused of sexual assault. You're like, did he grope someone or did he pull people's pants off? You're like
right.
These are some large lines.
Right. Like,
I'm not saying either's okay. I'm just saying there's a level of commitment.
No, like you like
level.
Like, for example, if you grab someone's butt cheek, that can definitely be sexual assault. That is much less bad than what Graham Platner did. Much, don't do that, people, without consent. But
it still has a negative impact. But
it's
you're also
less bad than
the
other
rape, thing is like really bad. So
anyway. So Graham Platner is he's taking some time to review the viability of his candidacy. Yada yada yada. He's going to drop out. And Democrats are probably going to hand another win to Susan Collins. Because it's just it. If there's one thing we learned from who was it? Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and such. It's pretty difficult putting in a new candidate, even with a long way to go before election day. It doesn't help. You're not starting off on the right foot. Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Oh well.
By the way, I did.
You'll get him next time.
We'll get him next time. Now, Democrats, in a way, can't win. It's like, oh my gosh, we got these Democratic socialists. A lot of Democrats are not super stoked about that. But in someone like Zoran Mamdani, it's like, oh, you got someone who's charismatic and seems very well liked so far. And New York City put on an incredible 4th of July 250th celebration. It got rave reviews, including from conservatives, and I can say that with some authority. But is he going to be president? No, he is not. He is not. He's not a natural-born citizen. Yeah, he's just not eligible. So Democrats, most exciting guys they've gotten recently, not eligible to run, maybe a rapist. And yeah. So
only up from here.
Only up from here. And with that, it's a pretty good episode.
Yeah.
One of our best. With that, let's see. Can we end on a positive note? What's the positive note? No? The positive note is that, it's good that we care about fairness and decency and goodness. There we go.
Okay. No, I think it was a good call to end on. It was just like sports showed us that we care about decency, integrity.
Yeah.
This episode once again showed us that at the end of the day, we do with, even with politics, we do care about the integrity and decentness, and it gives us hope.
It does.
It gives us hope.
Gavin Newsom, swear to goodness. You better not be connected to a string of unexplained disappearances in the Sierra Nevadas in the 1980s and 90s. All right. We're going to end with that. Thank you. All right. And that was the interview. Thank you very much for listening. If you wouldn't mind, please do leave a review for the podcast. I believe those are important. And subscribe to the newsletter, which will be linked in the show notes or can be found at neverclosetheinquiry.substack.com. Thanks.